Hello, Richard Gowan here, and I'm with Dr. Bill Trently. Bill has written a book called The World is Around You, But You Are in Your Car. I just finished reading this book and found it most fascinating. It's a work of fiction, correct?
Correct.
Wrapped around...
An essay,
Okay.
about an American problem, the relentless pursuit of the perfect life.
Okay, well, I'm going to read a short section of this book that I found most interesting. Driving in a car, you think to yourself, get out of my way. Have to be somewhere a few miles from here. I'm running late. Let me pass this guy off. Going too slow for me. Swerve into the opposite lane of head-on approaching cars attempting to pass. That's it. Back into the right lane. Oh, I think I ran the slow guy off the road. Must have cut him off too tightly. Looks like he may have slammed into boulders at the roadside. That's what it looked like in the rearview mirror. Nah, probably didn't happen. Or did it? Well, no matter. That's far behind me now. I'll just keep driving. Don't want to be late. I read that passage and I was thinking, that kind of sounds like me when I'm driving. No, this is quite an interesting book because it is about, like you said, the relentless pursuit of the perfect life and the negative ramifications on society based on that. And there's also a whole section on religion in there, which I found most interesting. I've always had kind of a distant relationship with religion. So I found that part of the book very interesting. But tell me a little bit about this book.
Well,
I know it takes place sort of in the future and in Portsmouth, New Hampshire.
right.
Partially.
The great philosophers of history are brought back to life for 1 week in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. And during that time, at the end of the week, there's a symposium where they present their ideas, which are basically ideas on how to slow down the American problem of the relentless pursuit of the perfect life. And the grand finale is a concert at the music hall in Portsmouth where Beethoven's 10th Symphony is performed.
His 10th Symphony, right.
Right. His fictitious 10th Symphony. And that's really a symbol of optimism.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it because, well, first of all, the scenery is great. I mean, I've been to Portsmouth, and if you're not familiar with Portsmouth, it paints a beautiful picture of it, like walking around and biking around, the coffee shops, and the whole atmosphere of it's kind of a funky town. But the most important thing, I mean, you really point out there's a lot of great examples in here of this pursuit of the perfect life and how, like with frivolous lawsuits and obesity and you touch on a lot of subjects. I mean, I picture this book being, standard reading for philosophy classes at UNH, this fall or something. It brings out so many things that you start to feel guilty, like, does that apply to me? I mean, that kind of sounds like...
It's interesting.
I mean, everybody at some point, some of these things, I definitely feel like, in the busyness of life, that you tend to take things for granted that your life should be perfect. The inconveniences of life really slap you back into reality.
Right. It's interesting that you mentioned that about UNH. This should be a book that you should read if you're enrolled in the college atmosphere, and that's exactly the audience that I see that this would be perfect for. When I was in the University of Scranton, I took some courses in ethics, etc., and I always felt that this would be a perfect companion piece to a person lecturing, especially on the world religions and everything. This would be a nice alternative way to look at all of that.
Well, it's definitely a very, very interesting book. You can find this at Amazon.com or Barnes & Noble. You can either type in the title of the book, which you see in front of you, or William M. Trently. And it's a great book. If you're from New Hampshire, or even if you're not, and it's a very interesting book nonetheless. Thank you, Bill.
Oh, okay.
Appreciate it.
Oh, also, you could check out the website, too, williamtrently.com.
William M. Trently or just William?
Just williamtrently.com.
Trently, not an EY in the end.
Right.
WilliamTrently.com.
T-L-Y.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I think it went okay.